Understanding general education. So these general education classes, or gen ed classes, that all of us have to take are required by us regardless what type of degree we're going for. So these are courses that are added on top of our major coursework, and the idea behind it is to broaden our knowledge of what's required in our respective field that we're studying. So general education, as I mentioned, it is necessary for any type of degree, and we're talking about associate's degrees. They're required for transfer to a four-year university regardless of the type of system that you're hoping to attend. Also worth noting though, Gen Ed is not required for certificate programs, at least not the entire pattern. So depending on which certificate program you're participating in, there may be, and more than likely there is going to be, some type of a general education course in there, but it's definitely not going to be the entire general ed pattern. So now let's talk about our current general education patterns here at Columbia College. And this information can be found in our Columbia College catalog, and it begins on page 60. So within Columbia College's degree programs, we have one set of requirements in College 1 for an AA degree, and Column 2 is for our transfer degrees as well as CSU transfer patterns. So for now, we're going to talk about the transfer pattern that the CSUs prefer their students to come in with. So we're going to start with Area A, and you will see that there are 5 areas within this section. So for an AA degree, it's telling us that we need to complete 2 courses with at least a C grade. So these check boxes make it really easy for you to keep track of which courses you need and have taken. So it's telling us that we need to take 1 course in Area A2, the written communication, and 1 course in Area A1 or A3. And we see that the same holds true for Column 2. They are telling us that we need to complete 3 courses with at least a C grade in Area A1, 1 from A2, and 1 from A3. So we have these different courses that we can choose from to fulfill each area. So how do we know which course we're wanting to take? Well, we know from looking at Area A1, we can choose from Speech Comm 1 or Speech Comm 4. So what we're going to want to do is look at the course description. So I flipped to page 235 in the Columbia College catalog, and now I'm going to read the descriptions. So what you'll see here first is that it's going to give you the title of the course, and it tells you how many units the course is worth. And then we have the actual course description, which is telling us what it is that we are supposed to learn in this course. If you're planning on transferring, it's going to show you which requirement that this course is going to fulfill in each respective area. And then we see down here, there's something that says CID, or a California ID. And this is telling us what this particular course is called across the board within the California Community College system. So this definitely has a lot of benefits for our students, especially those that are taking courses at multiple community colleges in California. So something else we want to be mindful of, and actually it doesn't show it on this slide, but some courses have what we call prerequisites. And so prerequisite is a course or requirement that you must complete before taking an advanced or next level course. So our system, the Connect Columbia system, will not even allow us to let you enroll in a particular course if you have not met the prerequisite. So this means, again, that you will have had to have taken a particular course, earned a satisfactory grade, usually a C or higher, to be eligible to even take the course that you're trying to get into. So now if we take a look at Area B, we see that it's the same type of setup as we just looked at for Area A, telling us which courses need to be completed to meet this specific area requirement. So over here, it's telling us in Column 1, you need to complete 1 course from B1 or B2. And then the second requirement is we need to complete a course in B4 with at least a C, or to have been placed in a math course numbered 0 through 99 via Columbia College Math Assessment, in which case you would only need 1 course required from Section B. I also wanted to highlight the reference section that you'll find woven throughout the Columbia College catalog. So these references offer excellent side note information. This particular reference section is talking about double dipping or double counting courses. It's telling us that the following courses cannot be counted for 2 general ed section requirements. So let's use English 1B, for example. So it can be used to fulfill a course in Area A3, right? So let's go back here. in area A3 and also in area C2. Okay, so you can take the course, you can count it for one of those areas, but it cannot count for both. So with that said, if this course happens to be a requirement within your major, then you can have it count for both your general education and also your major requirements. So again, you cannot double dip within general education patterns, but you can double dip gen ed and your major. So as I mentioned, the CSUs and UCs, there are subtle differences. So for instance, in Area D, the CSUs have a requirement called the U.S. Constitution and American Ideals requirement. And to complete this, you will need to take our Poli-Sci 10 course and also our History 16 or 17 course. And of course, these fall in our Area D here. We recommend that 2 of your 3 courses are Poli-Sci 10 and then either that History 16 or 17 so that you can double dip and meet both the Gen Ed requirement as well as the CSU graduation requirement. So those are just some things that you'll want to consider when picking your courses. And students who are planning on earning an associate's degree from Columbia College must complete the activities requirement. So again, a list of acceptable activities are listed on page 59 in the Columbia College catalog. And it's telling us that we need to complete 2 units of activity courses and at least 1 unit from the Health and Human Performance activity courses and then 1 additional unit of activity. So this is not a requirement for CSU transfer degree patterns. So remember, this is just unique for the Columbia College degree program. Okay. So now let's talk about general education transfer patterns for the University of California, or the UC. So they call it the IGETC, which stands for Intersegmental General Education Transfer Curriculum. And this works for both the UCs and CSUs, as well as most private colleges. Many of them will accept this transfer pattern. So you're definitely going to want to take note that if you are planning on transferring to a UC and majoring in the sciences, engineering, computer science, things of that sort, this is probably not going to be your best bet. So you're going to want to make sure that you are meeting with your counselor on a regular basis each semester, making sure that you are taking the right courses. More than likely, you're going to be taking a lot of science and math courses. But again, this transfer pattern is probably not going to be your best bet. So definitely make sure you're talking with your counselor and taking the right courses that are going to be best for your transfer plans. Okay, so now let's go ahead and take a look at Area 1. There are 7 areas within the IGETC transfer pattern, and it's not that there are more courses that you're required to take. You'll just see that it's organized just a little bit differently. Okay, so even though this transfer pattern works with both the CSUs and UCs, as we go through, you will find that there are differences in requirements. So let's take a look at Area 1, English Communication. So here, again, it's pretty clear. It's telling us we need to complete 1 course from Group 1A and Group B. So, and again, students planning on transferring to a CSU, they must complete this Group 1C requirement, the oral communication. So this is not a UC requirement, but again, it is a CSU requirement. So these are just the things that you're going to want to look at. And again, why I keep stressing the importance of talking with a counselor, making sure that you're doing the right thing. Okay, so the same holds true for the math requirement. You're going to want to make sure that you notice those subtle differences. So for instance, Math 8 was a course that you could use in the CSU transfer pattern that we looked at before, whereas here it is not listed as a course option for the IGETC transfer pattern for UCs. So it's little things like that that can make a huge difference whether or not you are on track to transfer, meeting your graduation, educational requirements, anything like that. So again, as long as you're working with your counselor, you have that ed plan, you know which courses you need to be taking. That's why it's absolutely imperative. Counselors are also very familiar with the course options, and if things have changed or additions or, additional things that you need to know, they're there to help you and make sure that you're doing the right thing for your educational goals. All right. So hopefully this helps. Again, I know it's a lot of information. If you have any questions, let me know, but this should kind of give you an idea and hopefully answer some questions you may have about understanding general ed and the transferring process. Thanks.